Now, Plan B of former President Edgar Lungu. Well, for us as government, we would like to indicate that we remain hopeful that he will live by his word, that he accepts the judgment of the court. And as a government of laws, the government will ensure that the law will take its course, and that Plan B should be within the realm of the law and within democratic means. And for that reason, we challenge the former president to come out in the open to tell us, as a people, to tell the citizens what that Plan B is. We do not expect a clandestine Plan B, such as we are treated to a bizarre incident in 2016 when ministers remained in office illegally and some unknown philanthropic organization paid for them. Democracy demands transparency, and those who seek to lead a nation in their transaction of public affairs should be open and transparent as to what they want to do, because it is for public consumption. So we are not going to speculate about what that Plan B is all about, but we are hopeful it is within lawful means, as anything unlawful will not be entertained. Let me also add that we would like to urge the citizens not to trivialize Plan B, because it has not yet been disclosed to us what it is all about. We are coming from bizarre incidents under the former president's leadership, where markets were bent, zescopos were brought down, the nation was gassed. So when people who were in leadership that time talk about Plan B, we should not trivialize it the usual Zambian way. We should wait and see what that Plan B is all about. So the government will be studying every maneuver that may present itself as an outcome of Plan B. So the earlier President Lungu tells us what Plan B is all about, the better for the certainty of the citizens. Because now, citizens may have the right to assume that whatever may happen, which is unwanted, may be connected to Plan B. I'm saying citizens, not government. For us as government, we work on facts. But because we speak on behalf of the citizens, we have the right. And we're also citizens at the end of the day. So let's take Plan B seriously. But for those like Honorable Govt Lungu and the statements he made yesterday, I think that he was driven by emotion and not reason. For him to say, by whatever means, by thunder or whatever, his year will be on the ballot. We are not here to contest with him, and that is why we are thinking that his statements should be dismissed with the contempt deserving. I reiterate that he was being emotional more than rational. We are a government of laws, and therefore we respect the rulings of our courts, and if there will be a lawful avenue for anyone to contest the election, they will. If there will be none, they won't. And that is not any one of us design. That is the architecture of the law. Without the law, there can be no order in a nation. And without order, there can be no peace. Without peace, there can be no development. So that is why we surrender our individual sovereignty into this calabash or basket called the Constitution to govern all of us, so that national interest supersedes personal or sector affiliational interests. So we want to call upon our colleagues in the opposition to sober up, because we have a country to lead, all of us, as a shared endeavor. There is no need to continue to alarm the nation or create anticipation which is not legally founded, but a production of a mental figmentation arising out of bitterness. It is not right, because citizens get concerned. I want to assure you that the government will maintain the law and order, the peace and unity of this country going forward, as it has done in the last 3 years. What measures is government putting in place to cushion small-scale farmers in the wake of uncertainty of whether party? Well, for now, what the government is doing is to respond proactively to the uncertainty in the weather. Remember, we have not said there will be no good rains. We have said we expect relatively and reasonably good rains. But given the fact that we cannot entirely predict weather, the government has taken these proactive steps to ensure that even if we have good rains and our small-scale farmers produce, then more maize for the country is a good thing for the region. If we have a surplus, we will export. So these measures are not to say we are not going to harvest from the small-scale farmers. This is government's agricultural plan B. So the small-scale farmers, if you have seen, already have been incentivized. This year, government put up an agricultural park for wetland farming, for those who have access to water to go into irrigation farming. And that was distributed through the Ministry of Community Development. Further, the government has been promoting a sustainable agricultural financing facility, SAF, which presently, if you go to many NatSafe banks, there are long queues of farmers, mainly small-scale farmers, who are accessing a credit facility to ensure that government, facilitates for the expansionist program of small-scale farmers in maize production. That is one of the measures that the government has put in place. I hope I have answered your question sufficiently. And also, as you know, the government has encouraged small-scale farmers to go into mini irrigations by zero-rating solar implements to ensure that the farmers are able to access those implements at an affordable price to begin to do irrigation. And the government has also included the public service through the public service microfinance institution, that public service workers can access loans to do agriculture, particularly that government through that institution can procure implements for mechanization for farmers who are public service workers, so that all of us can be involved in responding to a possible food deficit situation in the country and in the region. Mishek, you spoke about national farms, and I think your friends responded to you already, because I hate the answer myself. Isn't it, colleagues? Yes, because all we have been talking about here is the fact that government already is creating these farms. I think we have spoken about that at several fora, including now what we are talking about, Luwena, Kawambwa, Kalungwishin, Porokoso, Nansanga. We are now talking about an enhanced defense engagement in maize production. The issue to do with the relevancy of mainstream media, well, I was not prepared for that, because I haven't yet seen that mainstream media in the next 5 years will become irrelevant. I disagree with that. It will remain relevant, and that is why government will be there to continue to support mainstream media, because mainstream media is reliable, and the government would like to continue to engage citizens through reliable means. As to training institutions and curriculum, well, every field undergoes evolvement in terms of curriculum development, and this far, as government, we would like to say that journalists being channeled out of institutions of learning are performing well. There are areas of concern, and that is why it is said that experience is the best teacher. It is not just a qualification that makes you a better journalist. It's the experience you get from the field. So we do hope that as they graduate and get apprenticed into industry, they get further hands-on experience and become better journalists. Ronan, does government expect high mid-meal prices? It's too early to call. We have to wait for the rainy season and see how we are going to perform in terms of agriculture activities this particular season before we begin to post projections. Like I said, government works on facts and not a mirage of futuristic anticipations. Colleagues, thank you so much. I think we are done for the day. Let's go and listen to what Bali has to say.